big changes at the Quincy Veterans Home. You'll want to see the new construction on the upcoming Muddy River Gems.
The reality is we're looking at one of the oldest veterans homes in our country. And so it was time to build a new one anyway. We want to be able to provide the best for Illinois veterans. We've invested nearly $500 million in veterans homes construction projects.
That's coming up on the next Muddy River Gem, brought to you by Dot Foods.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Brittany Bull, and today my guests are Jason Parrott, the Assistant Planning Director, and Holly Cain, the Executive Director of SEE Quincy. My table is full. I enjoy it.
Yes.
Okay, so today we're here to talk about something relatively new, but a little old as well. It's called the Leg Up program, and this is just recently passed with the City Council, and now I need to know all about it.
So really, Leg Up came about out of the Bet on Q committee. Bet on Q was a grant program that was formed about 3 years ago. The idea is to help events either new to Quincy get started or to help an existing event grow. And during the discussions of Bet on Q, we had a lot of applications. I believe about 30 Bet on Q grants have been awarded. We would start to see the same groups year after year. And one of the goals that the commission did not want to be is basically a line item for these events. They wanted them to kind of stand on their own. And we got the same word from the City Council. They were not looking to see Bet on Q funding the same event year after year after year. So the decision was made, hey, you know what, some of these events are still critical to the community. We want to still give them a boost, knowing it can be a lot to put on an event. I mean, there's a lot of financial contributions that are needed for that. So what was thought up was Leg Up, a way for an event that could go beyond Bet on Q. Bet on Q can give 2 grants for an event. After that, there would be no more Bet on Q funding. Now Leg Up can step in and say, hey, you know what, you are a long-standing event. You are an event that does a lot for Quincy. So there's a special fund of money for that event. And the decision was made, instead of having Bet on Q, instead of having the city review that, SEE Quincy knows these events. They know the tourism. They know the impact. So the decision was, let's provide $100,000 to SEE Quincy. They review the applications. They decide how much to award these programs, and it gives them that chance to really continue to get the financial support that they couldn't get through Bet on Q.
Okay. So right now, the Bet on Q, it is still seen over through a board, right?
Yes. There's still the Bet on Q committee, and this year, $150,000 was awarded for that effort. So we can continue to still receive applications from different events that are new, or maybe they've gotten one grant in the past. Leg Up is the one, they're going to handle any event that have gotten more than 2 Bet on Q grants.
Gotcha.
And so that's where that comes in.
Yeah, there was a little bit of, I think, when the whole Bet on Q thing started, a gray area where people were like, well, it has to be a new event. And, you know, then, like you said, the reoccurring, like the successful ones were like, well, you know, so I can see the differentiating between the two. And now we've done that. Any big plans with the Leg Up coming up?
Well, we launched it on SEE Quincy last week, I believe it was, pretty much right after council approved it. And we've got 4 applications in.
Okay.
These are long-standing local Quincy events that I think are just looking for that assistance.
Yeah.
To continue to grow, to keep those events, and not having to ask every small business in town, will you support, will you fund an event?
Oh, absolutely. Looking for sponsorship is, it's hard.
Yes. And, you know, and Jason said, the event costs, they're not going down. The money that it takes to put on these events, it's continuing to rise. And we're aware
As with
of
everything,
that, as with everything.
What are some of the events coming up?
That have asked for
Yeah,
dollars?
yeah.
So yes, so our early 10 dusters
Okay.
have asked, and you know, I think this will be their 49th year in
Amazing.
existence. And that's a great event. It's free for anyone. You know, they don't charge an admission. So they've got an application in. The Blues in the District has an application in, I believe, for next year, but we'll still have some funding in there for the 2025 year. And, you know, that event doesn't charge either. They're paying for those performers. We've got Freedom Fest looking for funds. I know it's expensive to bring fireworks to our 4th of July event.
That is the biggest, best fireworks display.
It is.
It is so big. Like
Yes.
it really is so amazing. And I'm so glad that they put that on every year.
Yes. So we've got that one in. And then there's a new event with the landing zone, the Maverick in the German district, wanting to do a summer event. So our team will be reviewing them all this week and, letting those event organizers know.
And two of them are really interesting, the fact of Tin Dusters and Blues in the District, because one of the things with Bet on Q is you have to show growth. If you are an existing event, and these are two long-standing events, they'd have to show how they're growing. Well, they know what they're doing. They do what they do. So they never really qualified for Bet on Q. But now Leg Up, they can qualify for Leg Up because they're a high-impact event. Where they didn't show the growth that was needed for Bet on Q, this new source is something that they can utilize because of that.
You mentioned that fourth one, the Mavericks Landing. How does that work is it a new event or
It's
is it?
a new summer event, yes.
So then why would that go to that one instead of the Bet on Q? How does that work?
I don't know if they've applied for Bet on
They
Q
did,
as
they have.
well.
They actually have received Bet on Q funding.
Oh, okay.
So-
So it's a second. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I see how that works. Okay.
And
so,
I think that is a brand new event that he's trying to bring to the city. in
Gotcha.
July. So,
cool. That's awesome.
and these grants are from $1,000 to $10,000 max.
Yeah,
Where
so it's
Bet
not-
on Q.
Yeah, it's not
is
the same
higher.
amount. Bet on Q can go up to $25,000 or even $30,000.
Okay.
So this is a smaller amount again because it's not trying to help them get off the ground. In
Just
the
helping
most part,
to support.
it's that little boost that they may need to keep going.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great news. And then all of this will be available under the SEE Quincy calendar,
It's-
right?
Yes.
Like you'll be able to
it's
see-
it's under on our website. You can apply. It's a pretty easy application. We're not asking for, we want to see your budget, your marketing. We want to see your impact. We probably know it already if these are existing events. I've been working with them for many years. So, it's a relatively easy application. Let us know. Call me with any questions. We'll get it put together and figured out.
Please
for
don't
Quincy.
hesitate to reach out to Holly. She's great to work with. Reach out to Jason. He's great to work with. And, continue to bring these new and existing events. I want to just keep seeing events. I loved how this past weekend there were so many events I didn't know which one to go to.
Good.
That was
You're right.
yeah.
And
that's-
so many free events
And
for
that's
our community.
I mean,
It's
that's where Bet on
fabulous to
Q
see.
came from.
Yes.
Is the idea Bet on Q and Leg Up are both funded from the food and beverage tax, and the idea is to bring people to town, to have them staying in the hotels, to have them going to the local restaurants, local bars, local shopping. That's what these programs we hope continue to do. We've seen so much of an impact. The billiards tournaments, the basketball tournaments that have been hosted. Those are the type, they're bringing in a lot of people to town. And that's why we hope that Leg Up will continue what Bet on Q has been doing to keep bringing more people to town to experience Quincy, to shop in Quincy, and maybe come back to Quincy.
Yeah, bringing people to
Exactly.
town and entertaining our already existing Quincyans, the people that,
That say there's nothing to
Yep.
do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you for making something to do. Anything else you want to add about the Leg Up program?
I think we've covered it pretty well.
I think so. The only thing, there could be, they'll get a tax form from the city is a thing
Yeah,
that we want to make sure we notify.
Yeah, the city will make the payments for it. It's something where the SEE Quincy will review them. And
Okay.
then the funds just come from the city. So anytime there's just a tax obligation at the end of it because you're receiving grant money from the city.
Gotcha. So the city is the gatekeeper
Yeah,
of the money. I
Yep.
get it. And then Holly doesn't have to worry about that part.
That's right.
I like that.
Not want to worry about that part.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by and explaining what Leg Up is. I hope everyone gets a better understanding of it now.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll be right back for a little bit more Daily Muddy.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too, now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center.
Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Big changes at the Quincy Veterans Home. You'll want to see the new construction on the upcoming Muddy River Gems.
The reality is we're looking at one of the oldest veterans homes in our country. And so it was time to build a new one anyway. We want to be able to provide the best for Illinois veterans. We've invested nearly $500 million in veterans homes construction projects.
That's coming up on the next Muddy River Gem, brought to you by Dot Foods.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome back to the Daily Muddy. I'm here with some fine gentlemen, Jerry Roush and Bill Waters of the
126 Supply and Service Company, Illinois Army National Guard.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I read a little bit about you. The 126th unit was the only unit of the Illinois National Guard to go to Vietnam, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
And then, so you deployed in, it was September of 68?
That's when we left Fort Carson, Colorado.
Okay.
We were notified here in Quincy the night that President Johnson on April 31st gave a little speech that he was not going to seek nor accept the nomination for the presidency that year. However, he was calling up 13,500 guards and reservemen. We were one of those units.
Wow.
That got called up. So then
Wow.
from here, we had 30 days to get everything ready.
Yes.
And
Yes.
from here, we went to Fort Carson, Colorado. That was on, I believe, May 19th.
Yes, May 19th we left and went to Fort Carson, Colorado, where we did advanced training and were issued jungle fatigues and new weapons and prepared to go to Vietnam.
Yeah,
How old were you?
How old was I?
How old were you?
I was 26, I believe.
And I was, I believe, 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
30 days.
Right.
Pack up and go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so I also read something in the story where it was you were there for, on the second night, you were attacked without weapons.
True.
Yes, correct.
We were in Chu Lai, our base camp.
Chu Lai.
Vietnam, which was south. And we were there, and we had not been issued any of our weapons yet.
Sounds organized.
At first it was disorganized because we had just arrived there and we were unpacking our supplies and we haven't got around to the weapons yet. You know, we was trying to figure out what north and south was. But that second night at Chu Lai, that was an eye opener. That's when we realized if we're all going to get to go home, we're going to have to pull together. And we became one unit and we became brothers at that time.
Right.
And there's not a soul that was over there that doesn't remember that night.
Yeah.
Tell me about, okay, so I heard there was a trade made that night.
Yeah, we traded, I think, a couple of cases of beer for a bulldozer so we could clear our company area off. And that way we were able to build a few things. We had guys in our unit that were carpenters, electricians, from their civilian life. And we all got together, worked together. We had store managers, farmers, semi-drivers, postal service employees, Illinois State policemen, restaurant owners, construction workers, firemen, salesmen, an FBI agent.
Wow.
Electricians, factory workers. We even had a barber, our own barber, and a lawyer.
Who brought the beer? Was there a bartender?
Well,
I'm kidding.
It was available over there. The military supplied it, and you were issued so much every month or whatever.
And you guys decided to trade it for...
for a bulldozer.
But we had to hide that bulldozer.
How do you hide a bulldozer, Bill?
Not easy.
Not easy. But we were very...
innovative.
Innovative, yes, that's the correct word. We was very innovative, and we was constantly trading things to get things that we needed to make our living conditions more comfortable.
We built a clubhouse that was pretty nice, really, the way it was built. And we probably had the only air-conditioned clubhouse in that area.
Yeah.
But a couple of our guys were electricians. They went down to the dump, salvaged a lot of equipment and things that was in the dump, brought it back, and was able to put together an air conditioning system.
Wow.
That was Albert and Jimmy Schreck and Jimmy Loescher.
Yep. So very innovative, and all this stuff was done on your off time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't on your duty time. It was on off time. So we were very, very busy. And, there'd be high-ranking officers that would come in to see our company area, what we were doing, and they were so impressed. And, a lot of the men, we grew up together. Mm-hmm. We went to school together. We know each other all our lives. And we knew each other, and we were very compatible. It just worked out so good. And I cannot help to think that when the National Guard units are called up today, it's because the military found out how good the Guard units work together, because they know each other and they grew up together, and there was no trouble in the units. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew their job and did it and didn't complain, and things got done.
We were known as the Hallmark Company.
Tell me why.
They cared enough to send the very best. That was our motto all the time.
Yes,
even today, we still are known by that.
I've heard that. And then, what exactly? Tell me a little bit about the Springfield meeting. What you guys just went to celebrate? You went there to.
They had a display of all the military trucks that the Illinois Army National Guard uses, and we were invited to come over and present the plaque that we had. We made 4 plaques.
3 plaques.
3.
Yep.
And Jerry and myself and Bob Huseman and Joe Ketters, we thought it would be nice to do something like that. Mm-hmm. So we put it all together, and we had these plaques made. Jerry did the framing and everything. He's a woodworker. So we had one for the Illinois Army National Guard here in Quincy. We gave one to the Veterans Home for their museum. And then we gave one to the Illinois State Museum, National Guard Museum in Springfield.
So we can go out to the Veterans Home once it's open and see
absolutely.
it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
One other thing that I read in your story that, I thought was really interesting was that everybody came home.
Right.
Everybody came home, and we were so blessed.
That is fair.
So far.
Extremely blessed. There's so many different times that it could have been different.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have done today what you did yesterday, it'd been a different story.
Yep.
We did lose one, but he wasn't from the unit here in Quincy. He was transferred in, and we lost one man to combat.
Right. And that was on a convoy that was hauling jet fuel, I believe.
Yes, it was hauling jet fuel.
and we were attacked by them, by the Vietnamese, North Vietnamese.
So as the first few months there, we were all together. And then the military realized, when it's time for us our year was up, there's going to be a big vacancy there. So they started filling us
okay.
out. They started
Rocking.
moving guys around and going to different bases and bringing replacements in for us. So when our time was up, that there wouldn't be a big hole there and everything. So we ended up with men all over Vietnam.
Right.
There was not too many people know this, and it's forgotten about, is we had one platoon that was infantry. And they didn't go over with the initial body of, when we first went over in September.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed at Fort Carson and ended up going to Canada. They were infantry, and they did more infantry training. Then towards the end of 68 and beginning of 69, they came over, but they came over as individual replacements. And they were scattered all over Vietnam, from all the way south, all the way north.
Yeah, we had guys from Duc Pho, Quy Nhon, Da Nang. But the base camp was at Chu Lai.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But as Jerry said, we had people, regular Army people coming in so they could get accustomed to what we were doing.
Yep.
We also had 7 groups of brothers in our unit. And one family were 3 brothers. And like Jerry said, 144 of us went and we all came home. There were 183 of us called up, but the other 39 remained stateside because our TO&E called for only so many men in different occupations, or different MOSs, they called it. And so that cut us down to 144. So far to date, we've lost 61 here in the United States out of the 183. That's 33% of what we had when we left. So we've been very blessed, like Jerry said. One of the biggest things there was Agent Orange. I'm sure you've heard of that. Mm-hmm. And you know why it was called Agent Orange?
I do not. Because
the chemical was in orange barrels, and that's why they called it Agent Orange. And it was a chemical to kill the foliage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things because of that have happened to health of a lot of the guys.
Yes. And you're fortunate that, like you said, you all have still had pretty decent health.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We, as we get older, different things show up.
Yeah.
Because we're all getting upper 70s, early 80s.
I'll tell you another story. Jerry, up until about 3 weeks ago, we have a meeting every second Thursday of the month at Mr. Bill's.
Okay.
We all meet there. Usually we have 30,
I love
35.
Mr. Bill's.
Yeah. We have 30 or 35 guys show up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
we have a nice visit and then tell war stories and things. But Jerry didn't realize until one of our buddies, one of his brothers, they were both born in St. Mary's or Blessing?
At St. Mary's Hospital.
St. Mary's Hospital. And they were born within an hour of each other?
Well, one day apart. My birthday's on the 24th and his is on the 23rd. So, I graduated from high school together. Didn't know that we were.
And you served together.
Yeah, and we served together. So you could say we've known each other all our lives,
And you found out at a meeting at Mr. Bill's.
Yeah. Just last month,
That's awesome.
And so it's awesome.
I'm so glad that you guys get to still get together and band together, like you said, as brothers. And the last part of your story that I read that was really interesting is when you came home, you got to come home to a parade in Quincy, Illinois.
That's correct.
It was not like some other areas that the Vietnam veterans were not looked upon as
not received
very
quite well. So you were received with
very
love.
Well,
yes.
very well.
Good.
Very, very
as you
definitely.
should.
Yes, absolutely. It was nice.
Yeah,
It really was.
It was very nice, and it really surprised us. We didn't expect anything like that.
Had you heard of the stories of like the not well received parade? So that was probably kind of scary.
Yep.
I'm so glad that the community embraced you the way that they should.
They came out in force. It was great.
Good.
Yeah.
And we still support you, and we thank you for everything that you do.
Well, we
Thank you. Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
We're
Thank you.
very, very blessed.
Anything else you want to add to our visit?
I'm going to tell you the first federal active duty from the Quincy, Illinois National Guard unit was back on April 13th of 1917.
Okay.
And they saw action in France and was known as the 123rd Machine Gun Battalion assigned to the 33rd Infantry Division, later to become the Illinois National Guard.
Wow.
The Quincy unit called several times during the 1920 era to curb riots and prevent violence during strikes. November 1941, the unit served in the Solomons and northern Luzon in the Philippines and Guadalcanal. After World War II, the unit was called up for the Korean conflict and were a medical unit. In 1958, it was reorganized to the 126th Ordnance Field Supply, later to become the 126th Supply and Service Company, DS, which means direct support. We saw the duty in Vietnam 1968 to 69. And the Quincy Guard unit here was activated in 2008 and served in Kuwait and Iraq. So this unit has been called up for just about every conflict that's happened. And it's something that, as a unit, it's a very proud unit. And
I would say so. It's seen a lot of history, a lot of changes, and you have made those changes.
Well,
We
keep changing things. We keep doing things. We went on the honor flight, all of us
Yeah.
together. I mean, not all of us, but it's probably about 65 or 70.
Yeah, about 65, something
And
like that.
and we went on the honor flight. So when we got back home, we thought maybe we should do something to help those people, raise some funds for them. So one of the guys in our unit, Billy Thiele, he had a friend and his wife who made quilts. So we started selling chances on the quilt. And we raised $10,000.
I saw that. That was.
And we gave that to the honor flight. And we've done things to help. I mean, like Veterans Home for their, things that they need for games and things. We've donated money to that from time to time. We've donated money to the, I think it's the FFA that do the cemetery out on Broadway, or Main Street, I'm sorry, where they put the flags out, or the wreaths out every year at Christmas time. So we try to do something as much as we can.
Yeah.
And that's our purpose, to help people as much as we can.
Well, we've also donated for the 2x4s for Hope, for veterans, and the building of small homes for veterans.
Yeah, I think it was $3,500 we gave them.
Yeah. So.
Well, we thank you for your giving.
Well, thank you.
I thank you. Anything else that we want to add?
Well, we're thinking about meeting the American Legion for breakfast on the
When?
third Friday.
Do I get to come? Can I come?
Sure.
All right.
Come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it really? But it's just open to the unit, right? Or is it open to everyone?
It's open from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It's open to anyone that wants to come in.
Yeah.
But anybody that wants to talk to you guys, come out and talk.
Come out and talk.
Yeah, they can.
Sure.
8 to 10. When?
On the third Friday, I think, of the month is what we're trying to get together.
We're shooting for the third Friday of the month, 8 to 10.
Yes,
so many people have kind of sat back and just listened to us talk, and we didn't know that.
Well,
we didn't know you guys did that.
It's an opportunity, to tell you the truth. This is an opportunity for me to sit here with two Vietnam War veterans, and I get to hear your stories. Like that's something I think other people would want to do. So. Yeah, let's get the word out and let them know that the third Friday of the month, 8 to 10. Where's breakfast again?
American Legion.
American Legion.
On 8th Street between Maine and Hampshire.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for letting
Bill.
us come.
I thank you. That does it for today's Daily Muddy. Catch us here tomorrow for some more.